Tensions ran high in the Senate Appropriations hearing as Senator John Kennedy confronted Army officials about America's readiness against China, Russia, and Iran. Uncomfortable silence followed, raising serious questions about America's defense. Subscribe for more Capital Conservatives. Where Durit, one free us. Truth meets accountability. Senator Kennedy didn't waste time. He started with his trademark plain talk, outlining the new world order. Xi, Putin, and Iran are working together, Kennedy said. Xi is the quarterback. Russia dominates Europe. Iran dominates the Middle East. China dominates the Indo-Pacific, expanding into Africa, South America, and even space. Kennedy was clear, I don't want America to be the world's policeman, but I don't want them to be either. It was a warning and a challenge to the Pentagon officials before him.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'll try to land this plane within my time. I want to tell you briefly how I see the world and invite you to tell me if I'm wrong. I think President Xi and President Putin and the Ayatollah in Iran are working together. I think that President Xi is the quarterback. I think their goal is to have Russia dominate Central and Eastern Europe, to have Iran dominate the Middle East, and to have China dominate the Indo-Pacific while being free to roam in sub-Saharan Africa and South America and space. I do not want America to be the world's policeman, but I don't want President Xi or President Putin or Iran to be the world's policeman either. Do I see the world in the right way?
When Kennedy demanded straight answers, officials hesitated. One admitted, we do see them working together against our interests. Choosing words carefully, Kennedy pressed, you're going to have to give us straight answers. The response, bureaucratic reassurance and vague promises. If we're given more money, we'll be good stewards, the secretary said.
I would tell you, Senator, that we are seeing them. I mean, I don't know specifically what their ambitions are, but we do see them working together and doing some of those things against our interests.
General, I need you to, both of you fine gentlemen, to look us in the eye and tell us what you think. I understand you got to choose your words carefully. You don't want to get put on double secret probation. But we've got some hard decisions to make here. And there's a consensus, I think, in the Congress to give you more money. Because I think we need to spend more money on defense. But you're going to have to give a straight answer and tell us what you think. Mr. Secretary, am I right or wrong?
Senator, your question of, one of your colleagues said it earlier, $185 billion is a lot of money. If we are given more money than is in the budget that you've seen, we will be good stewards of that and innovate even faster. I think what we are saying to this committee is we believe we can transform the Army with those amount of dollars as long as we are able to use them the way that we want to, and we are not.
Kennedy pressed, how much to match China? The answer, $1 trillion. Still, questions about waste and strategy remained. Kennedy asked if Germany, the UK, and NATO would step up. We'll see, the general replied. Action is what counts. If you agree, smash that like button to help more patriots see the truth.
Tell me again the amount of money you need for the Army transformation.
We can use our current budget and transform the Army, as long as we're able to spend it the way that we believe is right.
How much money do you think we need to spend as a country to maintain or either, depending on your perspective, reach parity with China?
I think the president has mentioned between the two bills $1 trillion for the DoD.
Do you trust Europe to spend more money?
I'm sorry, Europe, Senator.
Do you trust Germany to spend more money? They've talked a good game.
When I was out with NATO with Ambassador Whitaker and talked to a lot of our colleagues in the NATO countries, and as far as I could tell qualitatively, they believed it seemed to be that they were going to start to spend significantly more.
General, do you trust the United Kingdom to follow through and spend more money?
I mean, all I've gotten, Senator, is what they said that they were going to do with their new defense review, that they said that they were going to raise, their spending on defense.
Based
so it'll remain to be seen.
Do you believe them?
I mean, I think we're big believers in we'll see. I think action is what counts in some of this. There's certainly been a whole bunch of our allies that have done that when they've called for.
Tell me. Kennedy connected Ukraine and China, asking if the conflicts were linked. Does Ukraine impact our struggle with China? The general's answer was cautious. America's actions in Ukraine could define China's view on Taiwan. Kennedy asked about military recruiting, and for once, there was good news. The general said proudly, we're dominating recruiting and retention. Kennedy's final words, thank you, gentlemen. A brief moment of civility after a tough hearing.
General, tell me, General, how you think the war in Ukraine relates to our struggle with China. Are the two inextricably linked, or do the two have nothing to do with each other?
Well, I think, Senator, everybody is watching that fight right now, taking lessons from it. I think everybody's doing that. I think everybody is looking. I get a lot of comments.
General, I know everybody's watching. I got that part. We're all watching. Do you think what we do in Ukraine impacts our struggle with China or not? Give me
I
a straight
I
answer.
do think our partners and allies are watching what we're doing and how that turns out. Yes, Senator, I agree with that.
All right. Last question, because I'm going to land this plane. How's our recruiting coming?
We're dominating recruiting and retention.
Why is it better?
We made some structural changes and the return to a focus on lethality among our leadership.
What structural changes did you make?
We created a future soldiers prep program that gets soldiers or future soldiers who are right on the edge and helps get them a little bit more training before they join. And then there were problems with when we transitioned over to digital medical records. We were catching things when kids were younger. We didn't have in place the mechanisms to get those waivers. We have improved there dramatically.
Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Senator Kennedy warned, America cannot sleepwalk while China, Russia, and Iran coordinate. Demand clarity, accountability, courage. Subscribe to Capital Conservatives. Stay informed.